All right, people, what is going on? This is episode 249 of the First and Frame Rates show. I am VF Baller, and it's just been a wonderful time for the past few, weeks. I mean, it's just been great, not just talking about, what's going on here on the podcast or, the content that I've been creating, but just everything just in general, just been really great. And it's a pretty good way to end the year because the beginning of the year has been so much turmoil for me. The end of the year just seems like it's much more easy, much smooth sailing than I thought it would be. So, I mean, that is a beautiful thing. Just a lot of gaming, just watching some sports, analyzing what I see as far as my two teams, actually getting into college basketball a little bit. Been watching the Georgia Southern men's and women's basketball. Good job starting off the season. Both are undefeated so far. You cannot ask for more than that. My Chicago Bulls are actually looking pretty good. A lot of people don't know I am a Chicago Bulls fan. A lot of people think that, I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan. Now, my wife is the Atlanta Hawks fan. She loves the Hawks. She loves the Hawks. I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. I've been a Chicago Bulls fan since the 90s. So, in the world of sports and just, getting stuff done around the house and just, just things in general, it feels really, really great going into the Thanksgiving, Christmas holiday. So hopefully you guys are feeling the same way. If not, don't worry. Don't fret. Just take it one day at a time. Things will turn around. All right. Today, like I said, this is episode 249. We're going to be talking about Clay Helton once again. I mean, I just can't stop talking about this guy. The impact that he's having all through South Georgia and everything around Statesboro, the way he's moving, the things that he's doing to talk and reach out to not only high schools, coaches and kids and touching the transfer portal. He's doing a phenomenal job at that. It's from what I've been watching. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the Thursday night football game. We're going to be talking about the Atlanta Falcons going up against New England. New England is coming down to Atlanta to play the Falcons, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents on that as well. Give you somewhat of a pregame to that. All right, let's go ahead and just get into it. Well, I'll say this before I get into this. I want to let you guys know that if you're not watching this on YouTube, I do have a YouTube channel. If you are on YouTube, you can also check this out on Anchor, Spotify, and iTunes. Just go and type in the search engine First and Frame Rates. I should pop right on up. Vice versa. If you want to check this out on YouTube, just go to YouTube, type in First and Frame Rates, and then you'll see all the information there. Also, I do have a Patreon. You can check out the Patreon as well. Go to patreon.com/First and Frame Rates. I think that's what it is. Go check that out, and that should pop right on up as well. And you get access to extra content and exclusive content as well. I do have merch on Teespring. Check out the Teespring link. If you're looking at this on the YouTube side of the world, it should be down in the description, or just go to Teespring, hit that link. Or not hit the link, just type in First and Frame Rate store. You should see all the merch there. I'm going to be adding some new stuff within the next coming weeks or so. So check that out. All right, let's go ahead and get into enough of all of that. Clay Helton has been moving and shaking all throughout South Georgia. I mean, he's went down to I know he's been to Warner Robins. He's been to Macon. He's also been to Perry High School the last few days, talking to Coach Kevin Smith, which is the coach of Perry High School. He's just been all over the place. I know he's done a speech in Macon at the Touchdown Club. Phenomenal speech he did right there, telling everybody what he's about, what he's trying to do, and where he's trying to go as far as taking Georgia Southern to another level. I just don't know what to say about this. I was not actually I wasn't really aware of how much what he does as far as recruiting. I know he's a good recruiter. We talked about this on another episode. I knew that he has a really good eye for talent. Also talked about that. But I guess the fact that he has the time to move around because he's still officially, not coaching the team. He's basically out here going and look for talent. And we've seen like the offers that he's given out to these schools or these students are just amazing. Some of these guys are very good athletes. I don't really want to talk about them too much, because not until they actually commit, because I don't want to give anybody hopes up on what, Coach Helton is doing and who may come to the school. I don't want to give a highlight or a spotlight to a kid and they decide to go somewhere else. And I don't want to feel like I'm moving somebody to that point, or, people may listen to this or whatever the case may be. I just wanted to make their decision. Once they are committed, I'm going to do a highlight on them, let you know who's actually on the team, not necessarily like, oh, this is who we got, look at this person. I'll be doing that forever, because he's passing out a lot of, offers. And it's just quite awesome. It's just amazing. He's also been to Ware football, been down to Ware County, watching those guys down there play. So he's been at Ware football, walked away with giving out some scholarships, or offers some scholarships. I mean, he's been doing a phenomenal job. I mean, he's just passing them out like crazy. And the things that he's been saying has just been a great message to some of these kids and some of the people who are watching him do the work. And that's basically what it is. I mean, I listened to the Touchdown Club speech, and it's like everything you want to know about him in a compartmentalized fashion is right there. I think the speech is like 17 minutes. And he's basically saying like he wants to create a winning culture. He wants to continue the legacy of winning at Georgia Southern. He wants to, he said he's getting away from the dive option, which is, I know some people may not want to listen to that or want to get away from that. He's going to give them more balance. He wants the more explosive plays downfield. He wants to see guys who are going to play hard, to play tough, and give it their all. And even in an adverse situation like now, where Georgia Southern is under 500, way under 500, but those guys still going out there to play. He also said he's giving he's had one-on-one interviews with some of the players, which I think that is phenomenal. I'm going to get to that in a second, because I know there's one player, and if you've been watching this show lately, you know that one player. I hope this player has the chance to tell him who he really is. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I think that is really important, because the guys who are there at Georgia Southern right now need to know who they're dealing with, not just from a coaching standpoint, but in some cases a one-on-one standpoint. So like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm trying to do. What is going on with the next few years of Georgia Southern? This is what I want to do. Are you going to be a part of this? I don't think the conversation went like that, but just saying that this is the way it is. And some of these guys will probably be on board. I'm pretty sure. I don't think every kid is going to be on board. They're going to have their differences or whatever the case may be. And speaking of differences, there's one kid that I know that had a difference, and I hope that he said something about it. Sean Pelkisson. I can't tell you enough. I talk about this kid, Sean Pelkisson. I hope he talked to Coach Clay Helton and say, hey, look, the last coaching regime had me on offense. Please, coach, put me on defense. Give me a shot on defense. Go look at my tape I have on my Twitter account. Look at me at defensive end. Please look at me at linebacker. Just look at me on defense. Because don't get me wrong, he does have highlights that he plays offense as well, but he serves much better on defense. Sean, I hope you said something. Please, I hope you said something. I hope you did, because there's a lot of talent. That is a lot of emotion. That is a lot of power and fierce and strength that is not being used properly on offense. You love for him to catch the ball and, run over some guys, but I want to see him punish some offensive linemen and get to the quarterback. You can do that. Hey, we can win a lot of games if we can get to the quarterback and have that quarterback kind of, with some happy feet, but nevertheless, most of the guys that are on the team are in the right spot for the most part. And I think, the only thing is we just need the leadership to push these guys to the point where they can be the best they can be. And I humbly feel that Clay Helton, whether he be here 2, 3, 5 years, he's going to change the culture. He's going to frame the culture of Georgia Southern for the next 10 to 15, 20 years, because if we all get a taste of success with what Clay Helton does, if we get that taste of success to see Clay Helton actually winning some football games, actually, getting some situations to where we are one of the top teams, if not the top team in the Sun Belt. Even with all this competition coming in with Marshall and James Madison and Old Dominion and Southern Miss, if we're able to take ourselves to that level, even when Clay Helton decides to, not extend his contract or leave early, the fan base, the boosters, everybody who's under this umbrella is going to want that type of pedigree to continue at Georgia Southern. So it's not just, hey, I hope he's here for 3 or 4 years, ha ha ha. Hey, most of the coaches here have been here around 3 to 4 years. It's not much of a difference, but this time you're bringing a totally different attitude. You're bringing a totally different vibe. You're bringing a totally different dynamic to Georgia Southern. A lot of people want to see the triple option. I see it now. I see it in my comment section on YouTube. A lot of people still say, hey, I want to see I still think we could do the triple option in the Sun Belt and be successful. No doubt, if you have the players, I believe, you look at players like Jared McKinnon and you saw players like Matt Breda, and the Jason Fosters and J.R. Revere's of the world. You see those guys that played in that era. Yeah, you can run the Sun Belt, but one thing that Clay Helton said in that touchdown club speech, Jared Banko said that he wants this team to be a national name, to be a powerhouse on a national level. Clay Helton said that he could be those Cincinnatis of the world. And hey, don't be afraid to be a Cincinnati. You may get, shunned and not really get much love and favor out of the college football committee. I mean, the playoff committee. But that committee, it's inevitable. It's going to expand. It's going to expand. And if they get to 8 teams, if they get to 12 teams, all we got to do is just play good football. That's all you got to do. You play good football in a conference like the Sun Belt and win games. You're going to be in that conversation. I mean, you look at teams right now like the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. They were in the conversation. They were in the conversation at one point. It doesn't take long. It's not hard to get there. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not hard because you got to play the games. You got to win. Obviously, it's hard, but it's not as out of reach. That's a good way to say it. It's not as out of reach as most people would think it is. It's not. So therefore, you should have those goals and expectations. I really feel that we can take it to that level easily. With this coach, with the recruits coming in and the game plan, the scheme, he already said in January he's going to be taking he's going to take on the role and start bringing his staff in. So now, at the end of the football season, once everything's over, in January, we're going to really see what this team or what the staff is going to be made of. Because I have no doubt, even if Clay Helton is here for 1 year, what he's doing now could change a lot. But it has to be 1 year. Like, hey, I'm going to do, but I don't want him to be here for 1 year. I really want him to be, here for the long run. I really want, it's a 5 year, I think it's a 4 or 5 year deal. I would like for him to be here the entire 5 years. I mean, if things don't play out, as well, but it's understandable that happens. But if he gets to the point where he's catapulted his career to do something different, that's cool, because now we can bring other people in that's under his umbrella, or somebody in here that could possibly be younger and better, because there's always room for improvement. So you always have to figure out, hey, this is what we got. How far is it going to take us? What are we going to do? Can this be sustained? And we want it to be sustained. So therefore, I think that with what we have here, I think this is going to be, it's just, I think it's going to be phenomenal. Every time I look around, it continues to be a phenomenal, it's just continue to be a phenomenal vibe at Georgia Southern. It just continue to be great steps to, possible greatness. The Sun Belt has been put on notice. We are moving guys down to Statesboro. We got, Kadri Jackson just left he just left North Carolina last year to come to Georgia Southern. We just got another recruit. Well, we just got another guy from the transfer portal that just transferred here. I can't remember his name. I'm about to look him up right now. Defensive tackle. I wish I would have had this up and running right now. Oh, and here he is right here. Christian Varner, former Tar Heel, committed to Georgia Southern. He's here with his former teammate Kaji Jackson. He didn't play much at North Carolina. It's probably one of the reasons why he wanted to come down here. Defensive lineman, defensive tackle. I'm pretty sure. I think C.J. Wright. I think this is his last year. He's going to be taking C.J. Wright's place. You know, and if C.J. Wright is going to stay in for another year, I'm not sure. I think he can. If he does, look at the defensive line. And I still want Sean Pelkisson to be over here on the line with these guys. So, man, look, it's a lot going on. There's other recruits that came in, you know. I mean, we got other recruits that are coming through. I don't want to really get into the recruits right now, but, you know, you got guys that are committed, that are doing pretty good in high school. So I can't wait to see what they do. I mean, just remember, I don't know if you know this name already, but just remember this name, Ashton Whitner. You know, that's another guy on defense. We already talked about Kevin Speed. That's another name. He may play defense. Just be mindful of all of this, because we got some guys that are coming in here that are going to be pretty good. There's some offensive guys that haven't committed yet. There's a wide receiver out there. I'm not going to speak his name yet, but this kid, I would love to see him alongside of Derwin Burgess. I hope this kid commits. I'm not going to talk about him because he's not committed yet, but I'm just telling you, that receiver, that's yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. 4.3 speed. I'll just leave it at that. That's pretty much it I got for Clay Helton. I think we're going to have a really good time at Georgia Southern. I think it's going to be a really good offseason. Can't wait for the spring games. This season is pretty much a wash. I know we're still playing BYU. Don't want to say too much about that. I'm going to do a pregame to the BYU game coming up, probably my next upload or whatever on YouTube. So check that out, the YouTube channel, First and Frame Rates. Put it in the search engine, it'll pop right on up. And I'll be doing a pregame to the BYU game, and then we have Appalachian State. Don't have much to say. Hopefully we could spoil a couple of teams' dreams for the rest of the season. That'll be awesome, but hey, we'll see how that goes. All right, let's get into the Atlanta Falcons. Thursday night football. Atlanta is going to be playing the New England Patriots. Patriots are coming down to Atlanta to play. The Atlanta Falcons got a tall task here. You know, I think they could still do pretty good. I did a video on the mid-season recap, and right now Atlanta stands at 4-5 right now. New England Patriots are surprisingly 6-4. Bill Belichick got this team doing pretty decent. I gotta give him credit. The Patriots have been playing pretty good defense. The offense for the Falcons is not as I don't know. You know, the Atlanta Falcons offense just hasn't been there because of injury, not because of production, just because of injury. Cordell Patterson has an ankle sprain, may not play. Calvin Ridley, you know, I'm not saying that's an injury. He's on personal leave with, the mental health situation. Kyle Pitts is going to be the guy that they're going to go to, and Kyle Pitts is probably going to be pretty much doubled and tripled. This is a reason why you would want to try to establish the run, which, you know, the defense of New England is very stout. They're pretty stout. So it's going to be hard to get a running game going, even with, without Cordell Patterson. You know, it's just one of the things that we're just going to have to try to find a way to get around. I'm not really sure if that's going to be the case. My main thing is what the Falcons are going to have to do once again, try to keep Matt Ryan upright. And that's always one of the biggest contentions for the Atlanta Falcons. Keep him upright. The guys like Zacchaeus, Russell Gage is going to have to step up. I would like to see Hayden Hurst do something. I'm not really sure. He may be playing as well. So that's one of the things we're going to have to do. As far as the pass rush, the pass rush of the Patriots is pretty good. You know, they have some pretty good guys out there. Christian Barrymore is one of the guys that you really want to look out for. he's been pressuring the quarterback very well. On our side, the edge rush of Dante Fowler was doing pretty good at first until he got hurt. I mean, and maybe he needs to come back and try to make a difference and get some pass rush, him, Grady Jarrett, and company. Maybe will be able to get to Mac Jones, because Mac Jones is very efficient. This dude is a very accurate quarterback. A lot of people don't talk about him enough because of the other rookie quarterbacks. You look at a Trey Lance, you look at all the other ones that are out there, Zach Wilson and company. But when you look at Mac Jones has probably been doing the best out of all of them. I mean, it's really impressive to see what he's been doing. Even with Justin Fields having his struggles, Mac Jones has like been that dude. It's like it's really it's really interesting to see how this all played out, because most people look at the top picks or the early picks and everybody. It always be like that middle of the road quarterback or the late round pick quarterback that stands out. It's really interesting. Look at Russell Wilson. He was one of those ones in a sea of people where we thought that you had RG3 and Andrew Luck. Neither one of them are in the league anymore. So that's the way it plays out sometimes. It is what it is. Now, with New England, they can run the ball pretty well too. They average 114 yards a game, and they have a couple of running backs that could play pretty well. Mostly Ramondre Stevenson, who's been running pretty good. Had average over 80 yards a carry. I mean, yeah, 80 yards a carry. Wow, 80 yards a game the last 2 weeks. So, He's been doing pretty good. Damian Harris may not be playing. He has a concussion. So I'm not sure how much they're going to be passing the ball, the Patriots per se. We do have a secondary that can play pretty good. The AJ Terrell and company. So I don't know how much they're going to try to put the ball in Mac Jones' hands. But I do feel that if they get a rhythm, it's going to be a long day for the Falcons secondary. I see the Falcons can win this game. They're at home. They play pretty good at home. They have a chance to win it, but I would not be surprised if New England end up beating the Falcons. New England defense is just a little bit more it's just a little bit more formidable than most people would think. The Falcons in general just need to find their way with all the things that are going on. I do feel that Arthur Smith, with the way that he brings his team together outside of the Cowboys game, they've been very competitive throughout the season. They found ways to lose more than but if it's up to Matt Ryan and company, Matt Ryan has been holding his team together. That's why they're like 4-5. Like 4 of these losses were like, maybe 3 of these losses was like you found a way to lose. And the Falcons, I guess you could say, has found a way to win in a few of these games. But it's just the mantra of the Falcons last few years. They find a way to lose games, and it's somewhat been turning around. Outside of the Washington football team game, you look at that game, that was a game that they should have won, but other than that, they're trying to turn it around, but it just seems like they're just still finding ways to be in a position like, look, we got this game, what's going on? We end up losing. Maybe that will turn around. Like I said, outside of the Dallas Cowboys game, I think the Falcons played okay football for the most part. So, I'm looking, I'm a homer. I like the Falcons. I'm looking for the Falcons to win, maybe by 3-6 points. I think the Falcons could pull this off. Even with the injury to Cordell Patterson, it's going to be tough. But one of those other guys on the offense is going to have to step up if Cordell Patterson doesn't play. That's just how it's going to be. If they do lose, I get it. I don't want them to lose, but I do see the Falcons winning this game in a close one, playing at home, even though they seem to play better on the road. Kind of weird, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, that's pretty much it for the First and Frame Rate Show, episode 249. Like I said, I talked about Georgia Southern football, talked about Atlanta Falcons. Not much anything else I really wanted to touch on this week. The NFL, for the most part, as a collective, good football in general. College football is still chugging along. I'm very, very impressed with the way college basketball has started this season. College basketball has started very well, much better than the NBA, but that's another story for another day, in my opinion. But I really like how college basketball started off. I mean, it's just some quality basketball, and it's been a lot of quality basketball over there for a long time. We just have not been paying attention until the Final Four or the tournament itself. But throughout the season, it's been pretty good football. Pretty good basketball for the last, at least 10, 11 years, but nobody says anything. But hey, what can you do? Thank you guys if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. Give me a good rating. Hopefully, if you made it this far and you like what you hear, go to iTunes, hit that 5-star rating. Go to Spotify, give it a good rating. Anchor, if you were listening over there, give it a good rating. Share this with other people. Podcast Addict as well. Give this a good rating and let people know. The more, the better of the rating. The more downloads, the more people listen, the more this will grow. The more it grows, the better the content gets, because I want to be one of the best at this. I want to be, so I strive to give the best content possible. So I really, really appreciate it if you would do that, and I'll continue to bring more content. Be on the lookout for more content on the YouTube channel and on the Patreon. All that links is down in the description. If you're on YouTube, you can find all you know what? You can find all this stuff on my Twitter account, VF Baller, and go right there to all my links. I have everything right now, all my links, so you can check out everything, both of my YouTube channels, the Patreon, the Anchor, Spotify, all that stuff. You can find all that stuff right there. So hopefully you guys will check all that stuff out, and I will see you guys on the next one. You guys be blessed and peace.